and what that
Okay,
conversation is going to
so
look like when you're
I
out
do
there trying
my
to find, the bank that's going to, or credit union is going to work for you and help grow your business. So I know you don't have your account now, but make sure that those are things that you actually, think about before you make that decision. For the most part, all the banks have similar products as well as the credit unions. And it's just important to know whatever type of business you have, if that bank actually, specializes in certain things with the industry that you're going to be in, because some banks like Regions, I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself. Let me start over from, I just start talking. I'm sorry. Good afternoon. I am Brandy Pendleton. I am the Vice President for Regions Bank. My location is in Florissant, right off of Lindbergh, right by IHOP in Dearborgs. I've been with Regions for over 14 years. And my passion is I specialize in helping consumer and business customers, be financially stable and also, live out their goals and their business and also on their personal side, just helping them, learn and grow. And we do it together. So one of the things that makes me different from other banks is that I tell people all the time, you get me. And what I mean by that is that I take the time to really understand, ask those questions. It might be some hard questions, but I really want to get to know you and what your goals are and what your focuses are. And so I can make sure that I can assist you along your path to success. So I'm sorry, should have been said up front. But back to what I was speaking about. When you go into, looking for opportunities, for your business, different banks have different guidelines. Like I said, here at Regions, we do a lot of business banking, small business banking, and I've helped a lot of my customers, grow, like I said, on the personal side and the business side by taking the time to get to know them. So that's something that's very important. And I'm sorry, I just say Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly, I'm very proud of you for having that relationship with your bank, them knowing who you are, knowing what your goals are, and they're supporting you with every step of the way. That's something that's very important that needs to happen, and it should happen if you're very serious about your business and being a successful small business owner. I do have a question. There are a lot of young people, my son's group, who do all their banking online, have never ever spoken with the person unless there's a problem. Absolutely. So I have that here too. A lot of, uh, younger generations, they do Cash App and Venmo and all the rest of the stuff that's out there, which is okay. But also tell them whenever they have an issue, with their account, like if their account is, hacked or there's fraud that goes on, um, how do you get that resolved? Because a lot of times you don't have a person that you can go and call and talk to. You have to call a 1-800 number or you got to email somebody. So your money is not truly protected. And that's the benefit of having a bank account with a person that you can go in and talk to and have those conversations when your account is not if it's hacked or fraud goes on. You have a face that you can look at and have that conversation. They can help you along the way. Um, One of the things also I like to talk about a lot of times, of course, the biggest question when it comes to small business, when you start your business, okay, well, let's talk about, how do I get the bank, to give me money? And I'm going to be honest, when you're starting off, your business, a lot of times you're going to have to either pretty much use your own cash or use collateral. So what I mean by that, I know sometimes it might be hard if you don't have the cash to use, but I've had to help some of my small business customers get started by them using the equity in their homes to kind of get like a line of credit going to help grow their business. But sometimes just where you have to start because a lot of banks, unless you have that track record, those taxes for the business, those the documentation showing that your business is making money, the lending process is not going to be right there at the very beginning. So you have to make sure that you understand that because it is considered to be a high risk, from the banks when we're giving out unsecured funds, meaning that there's nothing attached to it. So if you have something like a house that's collateral that can be used as a line of credit, you can utilize those funds to do whatever you need to do. The likelihood of you getting approved for that is going to be definitely greater. Anybody have any questions around the business credit part? So the business loan funding part.
Not at this time. More so, hmm, I'm trying to figure out how to word this.
It's okay. We'll figure it out together. Go ahead.
So, not only with the loan, so how do you go about? I guess my question is establishing it. So I
Okay.
understand going in with yours, but it's like if you're having to use your own, how are you establishing credit for the business
Okay, so
outside?
that's a good question. Okay, that's a good question. So, like here at Regions, we have to establish business credit to start off. We have what's called a business secured loan that you can do. So, meaning that this is how it's like a deposit secured loan. So, this is how it works. Our minimum dollar amount is 5,000. So, what that means, Ms. Kelly, like you'll give me 5,000. I'm going to put your money. I'm going to use your money as collateral to secure a loan or a line of credit, whichever one you choose, in the business name. And so you'll end up getting, let's say you do the loan. So give me your 5,000. Your money's going to go aside as collateral as to secure the loan. I'm going to turn around once you're approved and give you that 5,000 back, and then you're going to make monthly payments from the business account because the loan will be in the business name. So that will help you establish, some business credit. Some banks do offer that, some banks don't. But that's what we have right now going on. We do not have the business secured credit cards yet. All we have right now is the business loan. So that's definitely a start. Another thing that, in case you guys didn't know, but if you have like a building space that you have or a location, please make sure that you are putting those things like utilities and everything that needs to be in the business name is in the business name and not your personal name. Because even though those things do not initially report on your credit report right away, those are still things that can be used to show, hey, you have established, a sense of credit with these merchants like Ameren, Inspire, and you still can show that you've been paying, your bill on time. So that also helps you as well. Did they help answer some of your questions, Ms. Kelly?
Yes, it does, because I actually am a business consultant, so I help entrepreneurs start their businesses. So these are questions that they ask myself. So just looking for resources um, for them as well, because that's not my area of expertise. So just making that's always how do I get a credit? And they hear,
Yeah,
oh my God, the internet, social media drives me crazy because they come to me with, oh, I heard I could do, and it's like no. And I just want to be able to give them some valid information to research and look into outside of the, I don't know if they're scams or what they are, but
yeah.
the craziness that they read on social media.
Yeah, a lot of times, there are scams. I mean, I'm not a social media guru. I hop on every now and then, but I do see those ones. If you apply between the hours of 12 and 3 for this bank, they don't require documentation. You're guaranteed to get this, and this. I'm like, that's crazy. So I definitely agree with you. There are a lot of scams out there, and unfortunately, I can't speak for banks, but when you if someone goes to apply for anything, just like on the personal side, and you have um, pretty much no credit history, um, having no credit history is like having bad credit. So you have to start somewhere with establishing, a credit history, a credit trade, a credit line to make sure that those lenders and merchants can know that you can, afford to pay your bill and you're paying your bill on time. But that's somewhere to start with the business credit that we have here at Regions. Like I said, I'm not for sure which other locations, which other banks have that. But that's a question that if your customers can ask their bank, do they have that to help small businesses grow and get off the ground. Anybody else have any other questions around the business credit? So also, I'm going to move on to the next topic. When you're starting your business, one of the things you have to make sure that you think about is I know a lot of times I'll speak to some of the customers I have here. So a lot of times I get a lot of quantity business account versus quality. And what I mean by that is that you have individuals that come in, and just because they create an EIN number and registered with the state of Missouri, they feel like, you know what, I'm going to be a business owner. Um, and that's not the case. So when I have those individuals come in, one of the things, like I said, that I make sure that I do is to ask clarifying questions. You know, what are your goals? What's the purpose of your business? You know, where do you see yourself 3 to 5, 10 years? Are you going to have any employees? You know, all those things that comes with running a business. And when those questions cannot be answered, I will ask, a question, are you sure this is something that you want to do, want to start? Because when you run your own business, everything, starts and ends with you. And you have to be the first one and to be ready to go and hit the ground running, and also show the passion behind what you're trying to accomplish. And if don't have that passion, you don't even know what your goals are right now, then maybe you need to, hold off a minute until you figure that part out. But I'm not afraid to ask those questions because they need to be talked about in order for me to help guide you in the right direction, or for me to, help you. I can only go so far. You have to, be able to go with me, us go together, in order for your business to be successful. Um, Absolutely. Knowing the difference between a hobby and a real business. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. And I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time if this is not something that you're serious about, if you're just, doing it as a hobby. So I definitely agree with that. Any other questions around anything that we talked about so far? Miss Laura, I think your name is highlighted, but I can't hear you. Can anybody hear Miss Laura?
Miss Laura, are you speaking to us? I don't know.
Okay. Okay. We're going back to realizing that when you're starting your business and if you're going to have employees, making sure it takes a team, meaning that you're already trying to figure out, what this process looks like. You're already trying to make sure that your business is going to be successful. So you have to make sure you have the right bodies in place, and the right team around you and the right support around you. So starting with the bank is definitely the first thing you need to do, as well as, the support you have at home, the support you have with your friends. You might get a lot of, negative people around you in your circle saying, you can't do this, and, it's going to be hard. Um, why are you starting this? Why are you wasting your money? All those good things. What do we call them? I guess haters per se. But just, if it's something that you're passionate about and it's something you want to do, don't give up. And even if, you start your business and maybe something, goes left, it's not going in the right direction, don't be afraid to raise your hand. So it goes back to knowing, having those people in your circle who are going to support you. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask questions. I need help. There's a lot of programs out there that can help you, guide you in the right direction before you decide to give up. So just knowing where to go. I know if you don't bank with me, it's okay. I'll type my information in the chat, but I'm here to help any way I can. I live in North County. I live in Hazelwood. So I've been in Regions for 14 years. I'm also an ambassador for the North County Chamber, and I soon will be on the NCI um, committee as well. Now, I'm also on the Urban League committee as well. So I do a lot of things within the community to try to help, small business owners, be successful. And I'm very passionate about, just sharing my expertise, as well as making sure that I am a tool. I'm also a resource and support for those who, want to, come in business and, be successful. Laura says she's having mic issues. Did you want to type something in the chat, Laura, your question, if you had a question? Okay, did anybody else have any more questions in regards to banking when it comes to their business? Did you guys want to talk about different business products? What are some questions for me?
One question I have that kind of circles back to the first question that was posed. What role does a personal credit score play in the health and vitality of an upstart, and how does that come into play as far as being able to secure a loan for that business starting out?
That is a great question. So you have to understand that when you do any type of business lending, a business is an entity, not a person. So you're going to always be the guarantor. So your credit needs to be where it's in our case, it has to be at least at a 640. But which means that you have to have a decent credit score in order to get approved, when that time comes for your business account, because you're the guarantor. You're backing that business up saying, hey, yes, I'm going to make sure that this, if I get a business loan, I'm going to guarantee that, the loan is paid. So if your credit score is in the 500s, the bank is going to say, okay, you can't even take care of your personal side. Why would we give you a loan on the business side if your credit score is not, decent or where it needs to be? That's an excellent question. Any other questions? Okay, so Yolanda stated that Justine Peterson does offer credit building. That's just kind of like the same thing that I offer with the business. If you want to start, building a credit for the business, we offer that as well on the business and the personal side. We offer those secured products. So on the personal side, we offer the secured loans and the secured credit cards to help build your credit. On the business side, we just offer the business secured loans. So that's another great resource. Justine Peterson's, offering that credit building as well. So like I said, you have a lot of resources that can help you, get your personal credit score up, before you even go over to the business part. As far as what some of the things that we offer when it comes to business accounts, of course, we have our depository accounts. That would be your checking account, your savings account. We have money markets. You can do business CDs. You can even, we have business lending where you can, if you need a vehicle, a specialty vehicle for your business, we do that as well. Um, if you need equipment, depending on, what your business is, we do equipment financing as well. So all those things, are under the business arena. Okay, so secure credit cards, pretty much like I kind of discussed with the business part, you use your own money as collateral. So here at Regions, on the personal side, we do secured credit cards. The minimum that we do is $250. So that means that you would give me your $250. I would put that in a separate account, use it as collateral in order to get you approved for the secured credit card. And of course, you make payments on the credit card, as you use it. I try to advise customers to start off and just use it. If they're going to put down $250 or $500, to use it as maybe like a gas card instead of just going crazy and just going swiping. Just use it as a gas card. That way, when that bill comes, it's going to be a bill that that you can afford to pay, and you don't want to mess your credit up when you're trying to build it. But that's something that's the difference between a secured credit card and a non-secured. We do have a program to where we evaluate within 6 months to a year on the personal side. When you have your secured credit card, if you have, paid your bill on time and you've been doing what you're supposed to do, not having a high balance on your credit card, then we can graduate you to an actual regular card. You don't have to reapply. That's something that Regions will actually do, just graduate you to a regular credit card. But that was a good question, Yolanda. Any other questions? And I'm typing my information in the chat so everyone can have it. Come on, Albert, you're about to start your business. What kind of business do you are you trying to start? What's your goal for your business?
Sorry about that. I was trying to unmute.
Oh, that's okay.
So I have a real estate development business. I currently own a property and been trying to secure funding for that property. There have been some avenues that I've identified over the years, but I'm simultaneously growing a family, so some of my interests have been divided, between its inception and the acquisition of the property. But the goal is to develop a template and a blueprint for rehabbing properties and kind of wash, rinse, repeat that process, and not just solely for the purpose of flipping the property, but to actually help revitalize, a community.
That's definitely, yeah, we definitely need some help in some of our communities to get them back on their feet and beautify them. So that's definitely a great business to go into. And this is one of the things that, I've seen, and it's unfortunate, but we all know, during COVID, there were a lot of um, businesses applying for PPP funding and, all these things, and, they weren't very truthful. So I can tell you now that there are some business industries that banks consider to be high risk. And I'm just going to be honest with you, Albert, that real estate is one of those businesses. The reason being is because, like I said, during the PPP situation with everything that was happening, there was a lot of fraud and things that were going on. And real estate was one of those businesses that, were pretty much high on the list. Not saying that you can't get anything done, so I'm not trying to discourage you by any means. I'm just letting you know what you can possibly face when it comes to that, because of what happened in the past.
No, understood. Without knowing all the inherent risks, to the T, everything that you venture to do, especially if it's entrepreneurial endeavor, is going to pose some challenge that seems possibly insurmountable, or but I'm committed to endure the process because the vision is comprehensive, and the overarching goal is to build family generational wealth. So what I learn on the front end, I'm able to teach my children, and
Absolutely.
pass that information and that passion on to them.
So Yolanda asked the question, what are some things that will make you better prepared? And what you're currently doing now, just by doing your homework, doing your research, that's the first start. Like we talked about, there's a lot of, fake, I guess you want to call it news out there telling you what you can do, how you can get this and that. And you just have to be careful. And by starting off by having the right support around you, that's the best thing, that will help you now and in the future, and educate you on what you need to start doing and what you should not be doing. So definitely do your research. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask those questions, because it's gonna help you and prepare you for when you have to approach a situation. You'll know how to deal with it, instead of just listening to anybody, and end up ending up with a bad solution that could have saved you time, and also money and resources. That was a good question, Yolanda. Thank you. Any more questions for me? And of course, when you want to start your account, you can come see me. I gave you my location. Albert, I didn't see you smile behind it or clap your hands.
I just took a screenshot of your information in the chat group.
Okay, good, good.
You will be hearing from me. I'm like, I think it was, I don't know if it was Miss Kelly or Miss Yolanda earlier, the idea of being able to put a face with a name, and a voice share my vision with a voice that's going to respond back and
Yes.
be a sounding board. That's, you know, that's a great start. That's probably 40% of the battle.
Yes, I agree. That's where you have to start. I got all these questions. Okay, I see the smiley face now. I see you smiling. Okay, so to get the account started, you have to have an EIN number, and to get your EIN number, you have to go to irs.gov. That doesn't cost you anything to create your EIN number, and then you have to go to the Secretary of State for Missouri, and then register. I'm sorry, there's different fees depending on how you're registering. If you're registering for a non-for-profit, it's cheaper. LLC, you also have sole proprietorship, and I think it's one more. I can't think of the last one. Incorporation. So those are the different things that you can register for your business. And but you have to get that paperwork stating that you are registered on the Secretary of State website in order for the account to be open. Also, that I forgot to mention, going back to the accounts, every bank and every credit union offer different business accounts. So that's why it's very important that your banker takes the time and asks you the right questions, because if they don't, you can possibly incur fees on your account that could have been avoided if those questions were asked at the beginning. Just like on the personal side, there's ways to get the fee voided. Like here at Regions, I think we have 5 different business accounts. So it depends on what your monthly balance would be. It depends on how many checks you plan on writing a month. It depends on if you have merchant services set up, which merchant services are if you want the option, let's say if you're a boutique and you want the option to have customers, pay you with their debit card. That's in merchant services. We also offer payroll services too, through Regions as well. So there's different things, but the most important thing is to make sure that you're in the right account so you can not accrue any fees that you shouldn't be getting if those questions were asked, at the beginning and not at the end. Ms. Tabitha, you had a question?
Yes, I logged in late. I need your contact information, please.
Okay, if you look in the chat, beautiful, it's right there. Do you see it?
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Let me look.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
And does not having a real ID matter? No, that doesn't matter. As long as you have a valid ID or a passport, you still can proceed with opening up the account. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is that sometimes, or maybe you don't know this, but when you have a personal account, the titles are different than on the business accounts. What I mean by that, if I have a personal account and let's say me and Tabitha have an account together, we're going to be either owners or co-owners on that account. On the business account, you don't have owners, you'll have authorized signers. So what that means is that if Tabitha and I had, a business account together, then we're both authorized signers, and then we can, dictate, if I'm the president, or she's the president, if she's just a member, if she's a treasurer, then the titles, go into effect as well. But both signers on the account will have the ability to do transactions on their business account. So a lot of times when you do like an LLC business, when you register, a lot of times some people get what's called an operating agreement drawn up. Here at Regions, we don't really care about your operating agreement. That's between you and your business partner. All we need to know is the percentage of what who owns what. So let's say if you're one person is 50%, Tabitha's 50%, I'm sorry, 49%, and I'm 51%. That's something that, you know, needs to be shared with your business banker to make sure they understand, you know, what level each individual on the account will, what role that they will play, as well as what percentage that they actually have in within the business. And I would highly recommend, not saying you have to, because you have to make sure you have the right person that you trust. But going back to the titles, like on a personal account, you can actually have a POD, which of course it stands for payable on death. On a business account, you cannot. You only have signers. So let's say if Tabitha just has her own business, and okay, I'm not gonna say your name, Tabitha. Let's say if I have my own business and I'm no longer on this earth, if I did not have another signer on my business account, then you're gonna have to go through whoever your successor is, or whoever you know told that you want them to take over the business. It's going to be very difficult to pretty much allow them to do so. They might have to go through courts and all that stuff because they were not on the account, and only you registered the business in your name. So just also think about that as well. And some of us have kids. So let's say I have a daughter, she's 26. She probably doesn't, if I had a business, she doesn't have anything to do with it. I would still put her on the account just to help out with if there's any issues that, happen in the future. That way she can, do what needs to be done. Any other questions? You guys are making this too easy for me.
No, I just think that speaks to how thorough you've been. Um, I think the first question got everything rolling. You've been pretty insightful thus far.
Well, thank you, thank you. I've been doing this for a while, and said I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I love helping people. Seeing people, go from point A to point B, seeing them, become homeowners, seeing them, just grow, is something, that brings joy to me. So if I can help in any way I can, I'm there. And another thing too, one of the things that Regions does, that I'm very passionate about, is that I teach financial literacy. You do not have to be a Regions customer. So I go into like a lot of the schools. I've been into Jennings, Hazelwood, Ferguson, Florissant, a lot of different business owners. I'll just go in and teach their employees about how to save, how to budget, about credit scores, things like that. That's something that Regions likes to do to give back to the community, and I do that on a probably, at least I go out the branch probably 2 to 3 times a week doing that. That's something that I can offer, to your business, to teach your employees. It's a free service, doesn't cost you anything. It's just you just letting me know, hey, Brandy, can I'll come to your business, or it depends on how many people. You guys are more than welcome to come to my branch. But when your employees are financially stable, guess what? It's going to lead to a higher productivity for your business, which is going to make you successful, and also make them happy and successful. So just learning about financing, which a lot of people don't know, especially this younger generation, doing the Cash App and the Zelle and all that stuff, not even having a bank account, just teaching them importance of, how to start off, being financially stable, is definitely the first step into having the right employees in place for your business. So how do you sign up? You have to call me or email me. That's all you have to do. And everybody has my information. Ms. Tabitha, did you find the chat with my information in there?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
And I do have to agree with, I want to make sure I say your name right, Elbert.
Yes.
Okay. In in saying that you have been very helpful and thorough in everything that you've shared with us, I think a lot of my own clients, I've been trying to get them with Justine Peterson's program so that they can get their stuff in order. So, Miss Yolanda, if you could put your information in the chat so that I can have that, I definitely share all resources just to make sure that everyone starts with a good foundation. So, this is very helpful, and I will be reaching out for your literacy classes as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, well, I appreciate you guys, allowing me to be here today. And, just, spreading the knowledge, spreading the education. That's how, we all can help each other. If someone knows something, guess what? Let somebody else know.
Yes.
Because you never know, whatever knowledge you have, how it can help someone else be successful. And sometimes you have people who are afraid to, raise their hand. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I see. You have that pride, I don't need any help, I can do this by myself, and unfortunately, no. Because if you try to do it by yourself, you're going to stress yourself out, which is not going to lead to a great and successful outcome, for you.
And then I was told the best lesson is the easiest lesson is the one that you don't have to find out yourself. If someone's gone through it and did it, then get the
Absolutely.
information from them. And yes, we have a program as well. It's called our Initiate program. And what happens is I usually will sit with the business person or a person wanting to start a business and see where they're at. So if they're interested and they need a business plan or they need someone to talk to just to figure it out, even before, I'm grateful to Brandy for being on here, and I'm grateful to all the great programs that Justine Peterson have. You're not alone. We're here because we want you guys to thrive, not just survive, to thrive. And if you take the information that Brandy and the information that we have and the information that the other lunch and learns that we have had and will be having, you guys will be set up for success. We got to do this together, and it's okay not to know because somebody else has the answer. And there's just ask the questions, and you have Brandy's information. You can reach out to her. You have my information. You can reach out to me. But whatever you do, just keep working toward the goal, and work hard. I mean, it's hard work, but it's the most rewarding work out there. So thank you again, Brandy. If you have any last words, feel free to give them.
Well, again, I appreciate you guys for having me. Everyone has my information. Please utilize me as a resource. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And I would love, to help you and your business grow.
Awesome. So I get, LaShawna, go ahead, LaShawna, I see you.
No, ma'am. I was going to say thank you, everyone. This has been great. I appreciate you having these. It's been a while since I've been on, so I was glad to join this one.
Thank you. And Miss Yolanda, I don't know how often you guys have these, but you have my contact information now, so you don't have to go through Nancy. But if you need me to join, again, I'll be more than welcome to.
Awesome. I'll be reaching out.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this has been great. If there aren't any more questions, you have both of our information, and you all have an awesome, wonderful, great day. Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
headed
one
to
more
dinner.
thing. Wait a minute, there's one more thing.
Okay.
Andrew, can you post the link in the chat one more time? Please click that link. This allows us to offer this information to other people, our funders request this. So please, please, please click the link, fill out the not even 2-minute form, and so we can also send you the copy. And yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Brandy.
No, I was saying I'm headed to the dinner, so you guys know where I'm heading to.
Yes. Oh, okay. But you need it. It'll be good. I want some of those the candy apple that you had.
Someone made it, but it was definitely worth it. It was delicious. I'll do it again.
Good. Me too. Me too. Good. So the link is in the chat. Please click on it, and everyone have a great and awesome and prosperous day. Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Brandy.
Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, Albert. Bye, Tabitha. Bye, Brandy.
Bye bye. Have a great day.